And now you're Canada-based. I remember a tour up in Canada where I think it was supposed to be 3 or 4 shows, and one of the shows was the Lord Beaverbrook Rink in Ontario, I believe. I just don't remember exactly where that was located. So we show up at the night before. We were in some kind of high school in, is it Kitchener?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that?
Yeah, it's all around the Toronto. Kitchener's around the Toronto area. It's maybe an hour and a half outside of Toronto.
And then the next night we were at the Lord Beaverbrook Rink. And so we show up, and there are police surrounding the building. And they tell me, you can't go in. I said, well, why not? We have a show here. And it was, we had a pretty good advance there. And through the night, somebody had undone the valve, and the building was filled with ammonia. Like it was a sabotage kind of deal. That's the kind of thing we would run into. So it was, it was disheartening very often.
On the internet, it says that's in New Brunswick. Is it possible you guys could have gone to New Brunswick, Canada?
Yes, and then we drove. To. Would we have driven to Halifax?
Yes.
Through the mountains.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never heard that WCW ever toured here other than in Toronto, and I think there was a show in Manitoba in later years. But that's very interesting that you guys did the East Coast.
That would have been 89, 90.
Okay.
I also remember coming over, following a Detroit show, driving over the border. They had pared down. They had cordoned off an area of a huge arena I think it was in Toronto.
The Sky Dome, right? There was like Sting against Vader or something. It was just after WrestleMania 6.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
How did that one draw? Because I actually remember the publicity for that one. We used to have a show in Canada called the WCW Power Hour that you were the ring announcer for.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the publicity for that event. I think it was just after WrestleMania 6, but I never remember seeing any video footage of it, so I guess it was just a glorified house show.
Yeah, and then there were maybe a couple times when we played Buffalo, New York, and came over into Canada, just right over the border.
Interesting.